Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about something that frustrates me to no end in Genshin Impact. Now, it's not surprising that something frustrates me about this game. There are a lot of things that frustrates me about Genshin Impact, such as the Abyss rewards not increasing, along with the difficulty of the Spire Abyss itself, character story quests not particularly making me learn anything about them as a character, or Yalan not being in every single quest imaginable, because if she was, then the story would be 10 times better by default, and that is 100% the truth, and Genshin would officially become the best storytelling game of all time. But this mechanic in this game is something that genuinely grinds my ass cheeks together, just creates sparks between my ass and lights them aflame, a mechanic that never stops digging into my eyeballs and sucking the sweet, succulent juice out of my cornea. And that mechanic is called the load limit. So for the uninformed, or just the people who don't really care about this feature in the game, which is completely fair and I don't blame you at all, I am essentially talking about the Serenity Pod feature in the game. Yeah, you know that feature that you unlocked months in the game, possibly even years ago, and then completely forgot about because it's just dog water? More than likely for the exact reason I'm going to rant about in this very video. Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. And basically, the Serenity Pod is supposed to be some sort of sandbox type feature in the game, whereas you can collect blueprints for furnishings in the overworld and then build those furnishings to your heart's content inside of the Serenity Pod. Now, when I first heard of this feature in the game, I was quite excited because just like everyone else, I enjoy the occasional sandbox game every now and then. More specifically, I love Minecraft like everybody else, and the Serenity Pod seemed to be something that would inevitably pique my interest as a place where I could supposedly build whatever I wanted and make beautiful creations for myself and for others to enjoy. However, I use the word supposedly for a very, very good reason. Because as it turns out, I can't actually build to my heart's content inside of the Serenity Pod. I can't unleash my creativity and architectural skills inside of my teapot, just like Hoiverse advertised. So what exactly is the problem that is preventing me from basically doing what I want to do? Well, I'll tell you what the fuck that problem is. It's a stupid ass fucking load limit feature in the Serenity Pod. You see, the load limit is a function in the Serenity Pod where for each furnishing or companion you place in your realm, it adds on to the load of your realm, causing you to reach your load limit eventually, and you can probably guess what happens when you reach that shit. Take a wild guess. Yeah, that's right, you basically can't fucking play the game anymore. Not to mention, each furnishing in a Serenity Pod has their own level of adeptal energy or whatever that adds up to the load in your realm. So now you have to be fucking Einstein over here, literally calculating how much useless shit you can place your teapot before the game eventually shuts you out and halts your fucking progress and your plans. But why is the load limit even in the game exactly? The answer is actually very simple, or at least it is one widely known answer for this brain dead mechanic's existence. So let's think of a hypothetical scenario. Let's imagine that you're the traveler. And you just got your hands on a newly built gaming PC. You got a whole ass fucking RTX 3090 or 32 gigabytes DDR4 RAM, like fucking 3 terabytes of storage. Your shit either got like fucking 6 high performance fans, or your shit is probably water cooled. It doesn't matter. Your PC is absolutely cracked, and you can run Genshin on the highest settings imaginable. You can basically handle anything the game throws at you. You load after teleporting in under an attosecond no matter where you go, and your game looks absolutely beautiful and stunning. So one day, you decide to create something of your own that's beautiful and stunning to look at and to be proud of. So then you go into the Serenity Pod and you build the entire fucking makeshift in Azuma City. At this point, you're probably proud of what you've created, and your city looks gorgeous, and your PC is barely breaking a sweat, even with all of these things being loaded into your realm. Now let's say Timmy comes along with his fucking busted ass iPhone 6 that's been through countless Archon wars and even real wars in real life, and Timmy decides that he suddenly wants to visit your Serenity Pod. Just to see what you're up to, because you've been building over the course of a whole month. So Timmy proceeds to click on your Genshin profile, and he requests to join your Serenity Pod. So you notice that Timmy is trying to join your teapot, and you know that he's annoying as shit and won't leave you alone unless you let him in. So you accept his request to join. And then the moment Timmy starts to load into your teapot, he causes a nuclear fucking explosion that eradicates all life on planet Earth due to his sheer size and power, effectively making the planet the newest Jupiter. And that's the reason why the load limit is in the Serenity Teapot. The load limit is there in order to cater to players with lower end devices, aka mobile players, who can't handle the stress of rendering so many objects in the Serenity Teapot at a time, potentially overheating their devices, making their phones crash. You get the gist. The reason why this doesn't happen to mobile players when they're just playing the game naturally in the overworld, despite the overworld being much larger in size compared to anything that can be built in the teapot, is because the teapot is apparently coded in a different manner as to where the stress is pretty much front loaded. Don't take what I just said as a fact, as I don't know the exact reason why the teapot works like this, or why the teapot loads the way that it does, but it's basically what separates the loading stress of the overworld from the teapot itself. So I guess you can say the teapot is more resource hoggish on people's devices than the overworld is in Genshin, which is why mobile players can play the game perfectly fine, even though they're literally like 1 pixel each on the fucking screen. But they can play perfectly fine, and the teapot is just different. It is something that has most likely been explained already on Reddit that I haven't read yet in its entirety, and this is precisely what frustrates me about the Serenity Teapot and just genuinely discourages me from trying to play it the way I want to play it. I am an individual who does have a gaming PC, aka a gaming computer, which is a higher end device compared to a mobile phone, clearly. I can run the game at max settings with little to no lag or stutter whatsoever, and I haven't had any issues with Genshin's optimization so far. Even if the Serenity Teapot loads heavier than the overworld in general, I doubt my PC would feel its effects anyways, because I can already run the game extremely easily on the highest settings. I am completely confident that if there were no limit in the teapot, I could place as many furnishings as I want and as many companions as I want, and more than likely run into no graphical difficulties at all still. But because Genshin Impact is primarily promoted as a mobile game, and players who play on mobile phones are allowed to join your Serenity Teapot, the functionality of the feature ultimately needs to be limited in order for their devices to handle the stress. This is something that, although I understand the implementation of clearly, still frustrates me nonetheless, because the things I want to do and build in my teapot are going to be restricted in one way or another, and I wouldn't even be able to tell until it was too late. For instance, I had an idea I always wanted to do in my teapot when I would finally decide to get back into it. First off, I wanted to place every character in their respective region maps from the nations that they came from. So Zhonglei Keqing would be in Emerald Peak and Beneficial would be in Cool Isle, because that's Mondstadt and Liyue, right? Then I wanted to build small to medium type hubs for each character and a castle for Yalan, or for 2 of them to stay in at the same time. Now, I wouldn't call this idea something that is too demanding. After all, there are people who still manage to create way bigger things in their teapots somehow. So when I set this goal for myself and I recently decided to play my teapot once more, I was utterly disappointed and defeated with the realization that I couldn't even place 2 companions in the same indoor room with furnishing around. It was either I only have 1 companion in said room, or I removed every piece of furnishing from the room that would take up the load limit in order to add in that secondary character, which were 2 things I neither wanted to do. And this was something that just made me absolutely pissed. I had a fun and creative idea I wanted to create, but even for the most simplest activity I wanted to perform, I couldn't do it because the game essentially pulls a fucking gold experience requiem on your bitch ass and tells you you will never reach the truth of your actions, just because you have like a fucking cat in the house somewhere that's taking up all of the fucking load limit. I wanted to make a room for Sucrose and Albedo to stay in together, and now I can't do that. I wanted to create a bar for Diluc and Kaya to hang out together, and now I can't do that. And it's all because of this stupid, brain-dead ass fucking load limit that can't recognize my PC could probably handle 40 companions in one room alone, only because the game is specifically optimized for mobile players only, who are constantly on a fucking IV drip in the hospital for their phone's shit graphics. Listen, I understand that there's a reason why Genshin is primarily optimized for mobile players, because mobile gaming is one of the biggest platforms to host your game on, since basically everybody has a phone at least and would have immediate access to play your game. However, not providing options for players like me who have a higher end device as if they don't fucking exist, and forcing me to bend over and be more limited for the sake of mobile players being able to interact with me is ridiculously frustrating. I've seen a few solutions to the load limit from this post on Reddit, such as giving a warning towards mobile players that they're about to join someone's teapot that is highly demanding for their device, and leaving it up to them whether to make the decision to join or not. Or being able to create one form of the teapot which doesn't have a load limit or an extremely restrictive one like the one that we have now, because the game senses that you do indeed have a higher end device, thus you can handle more rendering and more load in the surrounding teapot, but also make you have to make a teapot version of your teapot that has the same load limit restrictions, so that way mobile players can join that version of the teapot instead and then do what they have to do there and leave, such as trading with Chubby, trying to get something from your teapot. I don't fucking know, right? Just do what they have to do and leave, just for easy access. I feel as if these are great solutions to the Serenity Teapot's load limit, and they are able to be implemented in the game, because if they are, then they 100% should be. Because I have just been completely discouraged from using this feature in the game, and it's probably the same reason why so many others don't play in the Serenity Teapot. Really and truly, the Serenity Teapot is only useful for crafting outdoor sets for multiple characters, and then getting premos from your interaction with them, at least for me personally. I am not going to fucking do college level algebra just to understand which furnishings take up too much load space or how much adepto energy every furnishing has. Because if you're going to limit what I want to do already, then I won't have any motivation to entertain it any further. If you were playing Minecraft and you owned a Minecraft server or realm with your friends or something, and it turned out that for each chunk space in the world, you could only place a certain amount of blocks until you couldn't place any more. Do you understand how that would utterly kill the entire game just immediately? Because mega builds would thus become non-existent, redstone contraptions would also basically be non-existent, and the game's creativity would be absolutely gone. Now, I understand very well that Minecraft and the Serenity Teapot in Genshin are two completely different things, but it is the best example I can find of how ridiculous the low limit actually sounds in reality. The main point here is that your creativity of what you want to build and what your device can actually handle is always going to be significantly diminished due to the low limit in Genshin Impact, and it is nowhere near fair for players like me who can handle the stress of loading so many objects in our own small area, but can't do so because some people are just too fucking broke to get a PC or something. Okay, that was a joke, but look, I gotta take my jabs here and there, okay? I got flex every now and then, okay? Leave me alone. I honestly don't want to continue any plan I have with the teapot anymore, because just off of what I've seen with not even being able to place two companions in the same room, I don't want to take the risk of actually trying to build something grandiose and special to myself, only for all of my progress to be halted, and now I'm at a dead end. You know, sometimes I honestly wonder why Genshin is even marketed as a mobile game anymore. Yes, I understand that mobile players are the largest and the easiest demographic of gamers you can appeal towards, at face value. However, it seems that even that simple fact isn't going to hold up too much for Genshin Impact in the foreseeable future. There are already people who've genuinely quit the game because they have no space to even update the game on their phones anymore, since Genshin is getting big in file size for most mobile players. Even this applies to me. I've given up a long time ago updating Genshin on my phone because I genuinely don't want to clean my entire gallery just to be able to update Genshin, and I've accepted that fact that I can only play Genshin on my PC, which is perfectly fine anyways because Genshin looks amazing on it. But it is super unfortunate that some people's only real option is to quit the game because all they have is a mobile phone, a phone that can't handle the game size anymore. And something that really made me laugh about Genshin is that they added the option of 120 FPS for iOS players. Dog, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure those fucking iOS players are never seeing the light of day for 120 FPS. Like, I'm pretty sure phones are not built to play a game that smoothly, especially not at 120 FPS. But guess who can fucking do that though? Yep, it's me, who actually has the more than required hardware to be able to not only play the game at 120 FPS, but at 165 FPS, easily if given the opportunity. The only reason I don't install any of those FPS mods or FPS unlockers for Genshin is because I genuinely cannot risk my account being banned at all, even if it's just a minuscule violation that will most likely never be noticed by whoever's. But honest to God, if I ever lost my C6 Jalan, mommy dummy wami mommy forever, I'd have to quit playing the game. I just cannot mentally handle that. You know, sometimes I wonder if whoever's just dislikes us PC players. I'm not saying that they actually do, but shit man, at this point, they'd have every reason to dislike us. I mean, we're the only ones who can make those naked, thick thighs Raiden skins or those scantily clad skins for any of the female characters in the game. We can essentially do anything we really want to the game's files because it's just the magic of having a PC and knowing your ways around it. I mean, I can guarantee you all 100% that every exploit that has occurred in the game so far happened because a PC player found it out or created it. Just saying. PC players are absolute menaces, so maybe that's why Horvers just doesn't recognize us as much as PlayStation players or mobile players, but that's just a fun jab nonetheless. So that's the end of the video basically. The low limit never fails to piss me off even in 4 fucking seconds. And it is just the most disappointing function in the game for me personally. It most likely pisses everyone off, however, because I can't see why any casual player who just wants to build a nice little palace in their teapot would continue to do so after the game randomly tells them to fuck off and have a nice day. But that's just my 2 cents. Oh, and also I got extra pissed at the teapot recently because I was crafting furnishings for my outdoor sets to get my character interactions and get my primo gems since, you know, I can't actually play the game how I want to fucking play it. And I ran out of vials that speeds up the furnishing time instantaneously. So, as a rational person, I decided that I, in fact, did not want to wait an entire fucking day for a chair to be created. So I opted to have a friend join my teapot and speed up the furnishing time to at least 4 hours. And would you take an even wilder guess of what happened? Yeah, they couldn't join. No idea what the issue was. My direct join was on. I wasn't in any quest at the time. I left my teapot and re-entered it repeatedly, multiple times. We were both the same AR and road level, and I couldn't tell if it was an issue on my side or on their side, but yeah, the teapot fucked me over one last time for the record. Dumbest part is that people could join my teapot whenever in the past with no issues. So literally just no fucking idea on what the problem was this time when I actually needed it. But yeah, I think my ranting is just about done. Please stop watching me.